Been involved in the health, fitness, and wellness industry for about 20 years. My background is behavioral management with an expertise when it comes to weight management. Why we feel disappointed with ourselves, yet keep repeating those behaviors over and over again. Feel uncomfortable with ourselves, unhappy with ourselves and where we are based on our choices. Today is really about complete transparency. It's about 100% brutal honesty. And until you can be 100% brutally honest with the choices that you're making on a daily basis, based on what you say that you want, which the biggest issue for people is bridging the gap between intention and action. So saying that you want something and only partially committing to doing what's necessary to get what it is that you want. Does that make sense? Okay. If there's something that you want, what are you willing to do to get it? Most people come in, they go, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds. Great. Well, what happens when you're trying to lose weight? What do most people do? Well, gain, but only, they gain it back only because why?
They can't stick with it.
They don't change things permanently. So when you make temporary changes, the change itself is temporary. People will say to me, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything right and nothing's happening. So I say, well, what is everything right to you? What is everything right? Are 100% undeniably honest with the decisions that you're making on a daily basis. When you wake up in the morning, what is it that you're consuming? When you have a break, are you having snacks? And what type of snacks are you eating? What are you having for dinner? Are you having a drink? Are you having more than one drink? And not to say that any of those things are bad. Do everything that's necessary to lose whatever weight it is that we're fixated on, and then we go back to doing everything that we did before because we've reached our goal, and so we end up gaining the weight back, and then it's this yo-yo cycle, and then we just somehow sit there and think, well, I don't understand how this happened. I did everything right, and now I'm gaining weight again. Well, you did everything right only for a period of time. So what is it that you can do right for the rest of your life? I never look at nutrition as being good or bad. I always look at it as there are better options for you, and there are better options for you, and there are better options for you. So they're always based on what your needs are, based on what you like, because if you like fried chicken, to me there's a place for fried chicken in your diet. Look at it from a control perspective as, I can have that, do I want it? I can have the fried chicken, I can eat the cookies, I can do all of those things, do I want those things? If you are expecting excellence of your body, and you're expecting to be able to push, and you're expecting to be able to do certain things with it, then there's a certain diet that needs to be maintained in order to achieve that level of excellence that you're asking of it. Yet then they pick at certain things. They'll have 3 glasses of wine instead of 2 glasses of wine, or even 1 glass of wine. And don't forget, all of those things count. Everything that we do has an equal or similar reaction, right? So if you're eating a box of cookies and you're doing things, what's going to happen? If you're consuming more calories than your body needs, or your body is burning off, the natural result is going to be that you're going to gain weight. It doesn't matter if it's in the form of protein, doesn't matter if it's in the form of fat, it doesn't matter if it's organic. It really does come down to input-output, right? And then from there, you determine the rest of it by quality. You have to make the commitment. You have to be fully committed to making a change. And that doesn't mean that the change has to happen all at once. That doesn't mean that you go from eating in this manner to suddenly eating in this manner. We are so quick to put a Band-Aid on things in this society. I mean, really quick to say, okay, this is your issue, let's take this, and it'll be better. No, it's not gonna be better. What can I do from the inside out to correct it? What can I do myself preventatively? What can I do so that I don't have to take? Because every single one of those drugs, while they have a wonderful effect on whatever it is that they're trying to treat, have a multitude of side effects that you could potentially be affected by. You have to decide the path that you are going to take for the rest of your life. So when it comes to vitamins, if you're just occasionally taking vitamins, why even take the vitamin? We all have to find that place where we feel good about the choices that we're making, and in feeling good about the choices that we're making is having to be honest with the choices that we're making first, is really being honest with those choices. Really saying, okay, if I'm asking this of myself and I want this of myself, but I'm doing this, do these two match up? Do these two things make sense with one another? Intelligence, education, all of those things are not a factor in, knowing what to do. Everybody knows what they should be doing, right? Really, realistically, we're all very smart people, and we know. The difference is doing what we know is right. So it's applying it and actually doing the things that we know we're supposed to be doing. You're going in with it going, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And what happens? You've given up all the power, all of it. The situation now has the power over you. Instead of going in, I can have this, I can have this, and I can have this. Because that gives you the power at that point. Is saying, I can eat what I want to eat, but what do I really want for myself? So based on this thing, this ideal, this desire of what I want for myself, what is the action that's necessary to get it? All you can do is move forward. Our past is our past. We can learn from the mistakes, but you have to move forward, and it's important to, that's part of controlling everything, is being aware that this moment, that's all you have control over. This very moment. So over the course of a day, you have thousands of opportunities to make choices that make you feel good about yourself, that make you move in the direction of the change that it is that you're seeking. But it's also important to recognize that you can't make changes overnight. You're 45 years old, which means that you have 45 years worth of habits and nuances and things of that nature that take time.
Yeah.
And you do, and you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be willing to make mistakes in order to ultimately be able to make changes that are permanent for you. Because even a lot of it is trial and error. It takes a lot of time to undo the things that we've done that have caused so much damage. And most of it's an emotional roller coaster. We create such emotional scarring to ourselves based on the words that we use. While I like the concept of food journals and things like that, the people that they apply mostly to, people are not honest in what they're putting in their food journal because they don't want to look at what they're really doing. So only, those types of tools are great only if you're willing to be completely honest in the process. So it's like going to therapy and not really putting it all out there. And it's not even about being honest with me, it's about, are you being honest with yourself? Are you really doing everything you possibly can? You need to be happy in the process, right? Life is too short, and there are so many factors that we don't have control over, that when you have the opportunity, because our choices we have 100% control over.
Yep.
We can make a million excuses as to why we can't do something, but those are excuses. You're basically telling me that you're unwilling. Right? When people tell me I can't do that. Really? It's that you can't or that you won't. Because in most cases, it's the fact that you will not. It's not that you cannot, it's the fact that you will not. What are you willing to do? Forget about what you're unwilling to do. We fall into those cycles ourselves of habits, things that we started with that suddenly have become overwhelmingly a part of who we are and the way that we conduct ourselves on a daily basis. So you really have to look at, okay, well, why am I making these choices? Why am I eating this way? Why am I doing this? Can any of those things change for the better so that I feel good about this choice? How much weight do I put on my physical self? What does that mean exactly? Because if I get there, am I somehow going to be magically transformed and be this different person and suddenly be so happy with who I am? Because if you're not happy truly here, I mean really honestly, and it's not, you're looking at yourself and just being, liking, not even loving, liking the person that you are, it doesn't matter what choices and what changes you make, because you will never be aligned with being good with who you are. When I created the Eat That Monkey enterprise, when I created that whole thing, was recognizing, because I saw it in myself first. And I knew I wasn't the only person that made choices for myself that left me feeling regretful and disappointed with myself. And knowing, and the part that's so hard is knowing that you have control over that and you're not controlling it. you're not making the choice that makes you feel good. It's not about having the cleanest diet in the world. It's not about having 10% body fat. It's about being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. It's about being good with the choices that you're making. It's about being truly satisfied with the individual that you are. Always natural transition. We don't just come out of the womb walking, because that would be weird. Really weird. So it's all baby steps. So then you crawl, then you walk, then you try to run, and it's kind of like a walk, run, and you fall. And never once has anybody said to a small child, you suck, stay there. No, we're encouraging, get up, you can do it. You can keep doing it. So it's that same mentality that you have to take with yourself when it comes to change. You roll over. Let that be it. Let that become a permanent part of who you are, that rolling over, that small little change. Then when it is a part of who you are, then hold your head up. Then that becomes a part of who you are. Then you crawl. Then you walk. And then a series of those changes, and allowing those changes to become really a part of who you are, then you can run. Then you can go and you can jump hurdles and you can do all the great things that you want to do. But you gotta give yourself that foundation, those little tiny things, and allow them to become a permanent part of who you are as a person. Without judgment. You have to have the expectation there. You have to have the willingness to do it. You have to want it enough. You have to want it enough to make the changes that are necessary to get what you want. So I want to add movement into my life, and I keep setting my alarm at 6 o'clock in the morning, but I hit the snooze button and I don't go. Does that mean I don't really want it? Yep, it does. Because if you wanted it, your ass would be up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you'd be going to the gym. So if you're not doing what is necessary, then you need to revisit what it is that you're saying that you want for yourself, because it's really not as important as you keep making it out to be. Have to be willing to take the steps necessary to get there. You can't change doing the same thing. If you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same thing. The only way that you get anything different is if you do something slightly different. That's the only way you're gonna get different. So if you do exactly the same thing day in and day out, then you get the exact same thing.